ethic. They
Right. Boom. Welcome back to the Yaadman Podcast with Davaine and Tonniel, the number one Jamaican podcast in Murcia, Spain.
Number one Jamaican podcast in Europe.
And we're slowly going to conquer the world, with our
Slowly but
podcasting
surely.
message.
Yes.
Our last guest on the podcast, he said that they need more podcasts like ours because we want our podcast to be different. There's so many podcasts in the ocean of podcasts that don't focus on positive things because when we tell you the truth, no one likes it
The
and no
truth is
one wants to
ugly.
watch it and no one wants to tune into it. Whereas if we go and talk about TikTok and the big influencers, we get lots of views and traction. But we're not dealing with that now. We're dealing with some serious issues. Today we have Paula Hurlock on the podcast. I'm a avid fan and also a avid skeptic because I grew up in the countryside and I hear about bush medicine, and I also grew up in a Jamaican family that don't believe in a lot of mental health or the existence of it, and I'm also very skeptical spiritually. I grew up in a Christian home, but as growing up as a man, I've come to question everything. Like there's nothing that I just accept anymore. The sky is blue. I need to know why the sky is blue. I need to find reason. So Paula Hurlock, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Normally, we start out the podcast with one question. I think this is our signature question. Who are you and what do you think your purpose is?
Wow. First of all, thank you guys for having me on your podcast. And any podcast named Yaadman Podcast, it's got to be a good podcast, right? No pretty
Yeah, we
things.
tried. We
Yaadman,
tried.
we are talking about.
Yes, we
Everybody
try.
know who that is. So my
Yeah.
name is Paula Hurlock, and I always like when people ask me who I am. I don't take off the mask them long time. So I always just tell people I'm a wild card. I don't fit into any box. I studied geology at university, and I am a big skeptic on purpose because after years of research and study and just looking and examining all of what we've learned, I realized that a lot of it is not quite the truth. And so I admire people who are skeptics because the skeptics question everything and will get to the truth about everything. Right? When I was growing up, it was all about vaccines and medicines and antibiotics and so on. And the people in the white coats with the stethoscope, and that was the biggest thing. And going to a private hospital to do surgery, that was a thing. But my grandmother, not even my great grandmother, my grandmother was a midwife in southern St. James. She herself had 13 children.
Wow.
And I know there was no health center where they were growing up. So how did they survive, and how did they not just survive but raise strong, healthy, vibrant children? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is Jamaica's population so strong and vibrant all over the world? Anywhere you go, and you open your mouth, them realize that you're Jamaican. Enough respect. What is it? What is it? So that is my question. Why are Jamaicans so special on this planet? It's got to be the food. It's got to be the herbs. It's got to be the land, the consciousness that is retained within us as a collective that they were not able to beat out of us or teach out of us. So that's the end of my introduction to you.
Yeah.
What an introduction. What
Yeah.
an introduction.
So your purpose is to answer that question then, is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It is basically to remind us of how powerful we were before before the colonizers came, and to remind us of our traditional wisdom. And all of that came about when the pandemic struck. It felt as if my mission became clearer, reminding us about our traditional wisdom that we carry in our DNA. We know that if our stomach don't feel good, we will drink like a ginger tea or like a mint tea. Are we wrong?
Yeah.
No, the science will tell you, well, there's some compounds inside of ginger and there's some compounds inside of mint that aid in digestion and soothe the digestive tract and blah 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 blah. But did my great great grandmother know that? Them never have no scientists, and no research
No, bro.
papers to reference. They just knew.
Even a simple example as when plants are growing, you crack eggshells and you put them around the
Yes,
plant.
yes, that's
A
calcium.
simple thing like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I had to go to university to study biochemistry for my teacher to tell me that. When I used to see
yeah.
my grandmother and grandfather do it, I never used to understand. Them
Or
themselves
respect,
couldn't even explain it to me. But it's just
right?
knowledge them have from within.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct, and that's the interesting thing. The nutraceutical and pharmaceutical industry. Do you know how it was done? How it was created? Scientists traveled to certain lands and spoke to the natives about the different plants. Them go through with the bushman them and say, this man say, yeah, this one good for cold, this one good for fever, this one good for vomiting and diarrhea. And so he's taking his notes. Okay, this one is a diuretic. Okay, this one is anti-inflammatory. This one seems to be anti this, anti that. And they would collect the plants, take them to the lab, um, do the necessary research to isolate the different compounds, and then they would try to see how they could replicate those compounds. That's how you get medicine, replicating natural substances in a lab. And then they what you copyright it or register it as a patent, and then they now make money from that formula, which is found freely in nature.
Yeah. Do you think that the medical and pharmaceutical industry, in that sense, has tried to monopolize healing, and
well
basically, to some extent?
well, they have. The interesting thing is that it's one thing to try to monopolize it, but it's the other thing to try to erase traditional wisdom, erase natural healing modalities, erase all of those things that kept us healthy and made us
Mm.
independent of them, because we were taking care of ourselves before the pharmaceutical industry even arrived. Remember, the pharmaceutical industry is derived from petroleum derivatives. It's all organic chemistry. Everything is done in a lab. So that only came about a couple of decades ago, maybe 8 or 9 decades ago, 90 years. So before that, we were taking care of ourselves. We knew what to eat. We knew what to drink. We knew what to stay away from. We knew that we had to get rid of the parasites in our body. If we didn't, we would be in problems. And so the pharmaceutical industry didn't even calculate for parasites. They were only into anti-inflammatories, anti-septic, antihistamine, and you know what I mean. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the cancers that we're seeing around today are as a result of high parasite load in the body.
What
And
are parasites? When you talk about parasites, what
parasites,
are you talking about?
parasites are the same thing that we talk about when we talk about cow and dog. Worms. Parasites are
Mm-hmm.
worms or fungi or mold in the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
The foundation for every single illness, the foundation for every single mental illness or physical illness is a proliferation of parasites in the gut or in the muscles or in the bloodstream or in the brain, right? They are now recognizing and acknowledging that even insanity and schizophrenia and depression is a result of a particular parasite in the brain, right? When people have a liver disease, it's because of a liver fluke. In fact, they're saying also that diabetes is a result of a particular liver fluke. Nobody knew,
Mm-hmm.
but
So
the
what's the
our
cure? Since
country.
you know
Mm-hmm.
since you
Go
know
ahead.
the cause is parasitic, what's
Yes,
what's what's the cure then? Because
the cure.
parasites
The cure is
are
is
easy.
is the cure is drink your um what I would call bush tea regularly.
Daily
Now
love, yeah.
remember when you were growing up, them always make everybody a drink bitter tea, whether a Cersei
Mm.
or bitter wood or rice bitters or manjo bitters, all of those things. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even our grandparents and great grandparents knew that, like us, Parasites like sweet things. They don't like
Yes.
bitter. So when we drink the bitters, just the same way it offends us, it also offends the parasites. It kills them. And then we pass it
Yeah.
out. So this is why every summer, grandparents and parents in the country worm out them children.
I
Yes.
used
I
to
was
hate
about
it.
to
I always
I
used to be my worst back to
Yes,
school ritual.
used
yes.
to
Because you have
Oh,
to
always
wake up
about to
4 o'clock in
that.
the morning and drink it, and
But
then your belly hurt you the whole day.
but even
you
that,
think
did you know in traditional Chinese medicine they say that every organ has a specific time. So waking you up at 4 o'clock is a part of the science. Certain detoxes that you have to do need to be done between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning when the gut
Mhm.
is active. So when you take in the medicine now or the bush tea, it start to work, and then you
Oh.
you you flush out during the course of the day, right? So there's a lot of method to their, you know, the traditional wisdom that they had. A lot.
you I want to ask you a question. You think that doing a washout or the regular washout every summer before you go to school, you think that is a
Mhm.
dying art in Jamaican society these days?
Absolutely. But guess what I see coming up now? Whole heap of cancer. When I was growing up, there was nobody that I knew with cancer.
Yeah.
Nobody. You and I know we probably have 30 or 40 people that we know that have cancer. So how can we go now from zero cancer to 30 or 40 people we know? And there's a direct correlation with the dwindling down of washout and the proliferation of cancer.
Mhm.
That's
When
what
did
What
I
about
see.
hosts that live overseas? Because when we live overseas as in the Jamaican diaspora, as much as we want to give our kids these kinds of washout every summer, we just don't have access. The doctors don't prescribe
Yeah.
that. Chances
Exactly. Well,
are, chances are they might call you say that you're endangering your child life by giving them the bush.
Well,
Yeah.
me now tell them one thing. Me, if me know that my child need wash out, me I go give my child wash out because, and
Mm,
then just like how people can claim religious this and religious that, we can claim this is what we do traditionally in Jamaica. Nobody
mhm,
can question you. In fact, them same one coming down to Jamaica to get bush tea to help themselves. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of
okay.
the imbalances, mental and emotional imbalances that you're seeing across the United States and Europe have a lot to do with their deviation from natural remedies, right? And
Yeah.
so we are a healthier, stronger population than theirs because we were left with our traditional practices longer, right? So now it's so interesting to watch the planet and to realize that the third world countries are actually in better shape than the first world countries. The third world countries have
Yeah.
higher fertility rates still,
Mhm.
and they are healthier. If you look at the correlation between healthcare, access to healthcare, right, and
Mhm.
the actual health of the population, you will see that the more access you have to healthcare is the sicker the population is.
Oh,
With
yeah. Like
all the
for example,
proliferation of science, and the whole heap of tests that you can do in the US, they're still unhealthier
yeah.
than the
Would you
people
say it's a
who,
business of making people sick as well?
that I would
Yeah.
say that would be very accurate. But
Mm.
remember, the food and the pharmaceutical are in bed. So
They
they
work hand to hand. Yeah.
produce, yeah, they produce food that is bad for you so that you can get sick so they can make money off of getting you well. Quote in quotes.
And how do you think that we can like get back like spreading these knowledge from our ancestors, from our parents? Because the
Yeah.
knowledge is lost. For example,
Yes.
my father, my mother, them can look outside and tell you where every single plant used for. Versus
Yes.
me, I only
Yes.
know a few of them.
Yes. No, no, but it's a serious question. They can't teach us. We are going to be the ones who have to go ask them. You just come to Jamaica one summer and go country and just tell them, ask them to teach you the bush them and say, all right, that's a shame, Amaka. that are manjo bitters, that are rice bitters, that
Yeah,
are cerasee, that are soursop, that are blue vervain. In one summer you can learn it, but you'll only be interested in it if you're interested in it. Okay?
True.
So
true.
we are the ones who have to seek the knowledge, not them have to impart it to us because we're not interested, right? We're not interested until we get a diagnosis,
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
During
you
the
have a lot.
pandemic, during the
Sorry,
pandemic
continue.
is when I realized that even I didn't know enough, and I went and I made it my business to go learn because no way I go make a country of very sick people tell me how to take care of my body. You mad? So we all have that duty to learn
Mm-hmm.
the the traditional herbs that our forefathers used.
But sometimes it's not that we sometimes it's not that we don't want to, but sometimes we've been so put off from using like old things from the past. We tend to go
Mm-hmm.
towards modern things more.
Yes.
The comfort. My head
Yes.
hurts. Let me get
Let
paracetamol.
me get a
Don't let me
And
pill.
boil some tea.
And the
listen
convenience
to
of
me.
it.
Listen to me. My son is 23 and he came and spent a summer with me. I don't have Advil or any of them painkillers in my house.
Yeah.
I refuse to have them. And he traveled with his big bottle of Advil, something else, gel cap, something. And I kid you not, he finished the whole bottle in the 2 months he was here in Jamaica with
Wow,
me.
that's
Wow,
But
that's a
he's an
lot.
athlete, so he's always in pain. You understand?
goes to the liver too.
Ah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Thank you. All of these painkillers mess with the liver and also the gut brain axis. When this gets destroyed, then that's when you have the whole heap of depression. That is why so many people in the US are walking around with anxiety and depression because they've taken so much antibiotics and painkillers over the years. It's messed up with their stomach and it's
Mhm.
messed up their liver.
Yeah. A lot of
So
people don't realize that the biochemical reaction, when you take a painkiller, it eases the pain, but if it's easing the pain, that means it's re-altering your brain chemistry. And they
that's
don't
it.
think about that. And if
That's
you're
it.
taking one of these every week or every day, every time you feel like a headache,
Some people take 3 a day. That's what I'm telling
Yeah.
you. My son is 23.
mm,
What is he doing taking so much painkiller? And
mm,
I talked to him and he was like, but this is what everybody around me does. His dad, his mom, his stepmom, his
mm,
grandparents, everybody, all his football colleagues, that's what they're taking for pain. So
yeah.
when I'm telling him don't take so much painkiller, he's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? This is what we do. So
Mhm.
those kinds of behaviors are normalized in developing countries. In
Yes.
Jamaica, we don't have no whole for money for buy no whole for Advil, so we go drink um thing there, all sort of bush. There's something called uh we call it French time, but
French
there's
time.
a Jamaican name for it. But basically, any kind of pain you're having, you drink that, you make a tea with that, and you're good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
What are some of the bushes that everybody should know that you can have easily accessible for your normal everyday headache, stomach
Mm-hmm.
issues, gas on your chest, let's say your knee hurt you or something. What are some
Right.
of those?
All right. So let me start with the famous cerasee tea. Cerasee tea is a blood cleanser.
mhm.
Because of how bitter it is, it actually helps to detox the liver. Right. So that's a good one to start with. If you have any issues of stomach and digestion, you take your mint tea. Ginger is also good to settle the stomach. Okay. And why ginger? Ginger is hot. Ginger speeds up digestion because sometimes, usually, most issues of the stomach are slow, delayed digestion. And so the ginger will catalyze the digestion process. All right. For headaches and fevers and so on, the legendary lemongrass, fever grass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes.
you're having issues with not being able to sleep or relax, you lick a soursop leaf or you lick a guava leaf. Guava leaf is also good for upset stomach, diarrhea, and vomiting. Right? Then you have seed on the leaf. You ever? I don't know if you ever see that.
Seed. No, I don't know
Seed
that
on the
one.
leaf.
Zidanda.
I'm out in my garden. I could see if I find one. I'll pick it and bring it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do that? Can
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
that?
Sure,
of
why not?
course.
Yeah, we'd love to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're out in the garden, right? Seed on the leaf is what they call stonebreaker herb, and it's
Mm-hmm.
good for the kidney and
Mm,
gallstones. Let me pull this one out. Look at this. Tell me, say you never see this yet. Look at it.
hold on.
You see it?
Yeah, one
It's
second.
a little common shrub. Look underneath
Yeah, probably just.
look at the bottom of
Yeah.
the you see some little seeds under there? Look closely.
Yeah, I never see that
Yeah,
before
yeah.
though.
Yeah, but when you look at it, let me
And I grew up in a
Ah.
country.
see it here.
Hold on, the
You never
signal
see
is a
this?
bit low, so it taking time.
Right. Okay.
Seed
So
under leaf. I
Seed
don't
yeah,
think I've
under.
seen.
or
And I grew up
stonebreaker.
country.
This grow
Yeah.
common everywhere. It's what they call stonebreaker
Mm,
herb, and it's good
Mm-hmm.
for
yeah.
breaking stones, gallstones, kidney stones.
Ah,
Yeah.
kidney stones.
Ah.
Yeah. Look at this. Look. Let me
Yes.
show this to you. You see some little seeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
see some small, yeah.
Yeah. So they call it seed
Okay.
Wow.
on stonebreaker herb, right? So this,
Mm.
and the other thing
Ah.
with herbs is that when you see them growing up in your yard, it's
Mm-hmm.
because you need it. I can't
Ah, okay.
always find this herb in my yard. But then another time I have to pay a man to come and chop down because this the whole of my yard full of this. It's crazy.
Mm.
And then I
Yes.
found out what
Nature
it
talk to
was.
you.
Yeah, I mean literally, and
Yeah.
country people know this. They will dream of if they're sick, they will dream of what herbs to go get and use to make them well. And that's been
Yeah.
happening for decades now in Jamaica. So
Yeah.
that's seed on the
All right.
leaf. Then they have something called purslane. Purslane just if rain fall, you just see purslane just spring up all over your yard. It look like a weed, but it's very rich in vitamin C. So if you have a
Mm.
cold, you drink that. It has so many properties. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, what else? Blue vervain. Blue vervain now is a nervine, just like soursop and guava. So again,
Yeah.
it's good for anxiety and also helping you to sleep and to relax because it soothes the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Ah.
No, if your nervous system is not relaxed, your immune system is going to go down. In
They're
other
not
words, if you're
resting.
stressed, yeah, if you're stressed, you're gonna get
Definitely.
squeezed, right?
Yeah.
So when we take in bush, we take all the different things to take care of everything. So we take something for with nerves, we take something for with stomach, we take something for
Mm.
to clean out
Mm-hmm.
with blood, we take something for the parasite them. If you are taking all of those things regularly, you're good.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out some other bushes to you, and you tell me
Yeah.
what they're used for.
All
Cause
right.
I know some of them.
Yeah.
Dog blood.
Dark
Dog
blood.
blood, dog blood they say is very good for female issues. So women that are, you know, bleeding excessively or having a lot of stomach cramps, or if they
Mm-hmm.
have fibroids or any other reproductive issues, dog blood is good for
Yeah.
that. As is
Yeah.
there's another cheney root. Cheney root is also when you pair up cheney root with dog blood, you can help to balance out the female hormones. And it's also good for men and their hormones. So it's an all purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy.
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 Cola nut.
Busy, what they say busy is an antidote. If you get poisoned or if you look like you are having food poisoning or anything, you take busy and it will reverse or neutralize whatever is going on inside of you.
Okay. Single Bible. Aloe
Sing the
vera.
Bible, aloe vera. When I tell you that thing is powerful.
Yeah, man.
Do you know biblically when the men would go to war? they would have a man with a wheelbarrow with just pure aloe vera. So all the man
Yeah.
them who just chop up and
Yup.
cut up and so on, them just use the aloe vera, and the aloe vera will heal very quickly and
Quickly.
heal the body without the whole heap of infections. So it's very powerful. It is good for burns. It is good for like sunburns. It will um it works on the the soft mucous membrane of the body, whether it's in your mouth or in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It will heal the stomach if there is issues with the stomach. A lot of people who have ulcers, if they take the aloe vera, it will slowly heal it.
Mm.
Also, if you're detoxing, some people, I do it when I'm ready to get a detox done. I will 3 days orange juice with aloe vera, blend it up, drink that. It will push out the
Mm.
acidity in the body and gear the body up for doing, a deeper detox. So it's very powerful.
Just that for your detox. That's your detox
No,
regimen.
that's the start. That's the start
Oh,
That's
okay,
to
the
okay.
start,
before I
Davaine.
yes to just push out the extra acidity in the body, and then now you go layer by layer. Now go with the parasitic, you go with the this, you go with the that. There's a sequence I can't even because I haven't looked at it for a little while. I don't remember the sequence, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a sequence so that you don't have um you know, for example, a lot of dead parasites in your body because you do the sequence wrong and you kill the parasites,
Ah.
but you haven't done something to flush out the body.
Oh, yes,
You
yes.
know,
Mm.
like cenopods will send you to the bathroom, right?
Oh my God! Don't tell me, boy. I used to hate
Right,
that. I used to
right.
hate that.
So then, when they give you the washout, they would give you a set of herbs first, and then the
Mm-hmm.
senna after. So that's the first herbs are going to
Mm.
clear out the toxins and kill the parasites, and then the senna now will flush it out. So if
Flush
you
The
out.
don't flush it
diuretic.
out now,
Yeah.
it's going to be in your body, and that's no good.
Yes, that's the washout. That's the washout one. I remember the centerpod. You take the herb. What
Yes,
they call it herb, but I don't know
yes.
what the herb
It's
is.
a blend of about 4 or 5 or 6 herbs, and then now you take the senna now to.
Mm.
Yeah, the washout protocol. Moringa.
Yes. Moringa. Moringa is rich in iron and vitamin C and everything. So it's
Mm,
good for people who are anemic, but it's also
mm,
good for people that have high blood pressure. It will
mm.
drop your blood pressure significantly. And I know firsthand, this is why you have to kind of have an idea of how the herbs work. I was severely anemic, and I'm like, okay, all I need to do is put some moringa in my smoothie every morning. The first morning, I take a handful of moringa and just throw it in my smoothie, with banana and cucumber and this, and it's very delicious. When I
Mm.
finish, I can't even move. I was like, what's going on here? I already
Wow.
had low blood pressure and anemia,
Mm.
and then I go take the moringa. My blood pressure go down even lower. So it's
Caution,
very
yeah.
quick too, like within minutes. So
Wow.
all those people that are walking around and saying they're on high blood pressure medication, I'm like, why? When you have moringa that grow outside, it's free, and if you, with a little care, you can manage your pressure without these medication that have a myriad of side effects. But I don't tell people to just rush into that. You have to work with someone who understands the herbs and can responsibly help you to wean yourself from some of these medication. During the pandemic, there was a lady in Canada who determined that she was going to get herself off her high blood pressure medication and her diabetes medication. And in less than a year, she got herself off of the high blood pressure medication. And with some help from her, a traditional Chinese medicine naturopath in Canada, she was able to come off of her diabetes medicine. And she was able to do all of that in 1 year, just
Wow.
with dedication and commitment and just being determined. Yeah.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Guinea and weed.
Wow.
All right. So Guinea hen weed is very high in sulfur. Um, I don't so like guinea hen weed. It don't agree with my body. But they say it's anti-cancer and it's anti-holy thing. In fact, people say if you take guinea hen weed and just burn it in your yard. You get rid of negative energy. I was like, I didn't even know that, but guinea hen weed is, they say, is anti-cancer. Um, I don't also love it. I don't know why. Even though a lot of people rave about it, I also understand that if you take guinea hen weed and put it on white rum, you can stop your knee and any other pain in the joints,
Mm.
and it's good for that.
What would you recommend for joint pain?
Yes.
I would recommend a simple thing like Irish moss, just drinking Irish moss, because Irish moss is
Back
rich
pain.
in collagen and in a whole bunch of minerals and so on that will build back or support joint health. Irish moss is good for everything.
Yeah.
The skin, the hair, the gut, but it's especially good for the joints. If you're having severe joint pain or any other pain in your body, lower back pain, any kind of pain that is originated in the body, pain is usually as a result of inflammation. So if you just get some aloe vera and slice it in half and just put it in a frying pan, this, um, the cut side up, and heat the aloe vera till you see it kind of bubbling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you take that, then burn you, and you
Yeah.
just put the gel side down on whatever part of your body is hurting. Pain gone.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, I need to
Pain
Wow.
try that.
gone. Yeah, man.
I need to try that. The next one my father used to do is a rum bottle with some herbs in it, and
Yeah,
him have
man.
that a marinate for months and
And the
years, and does
scorpion
that? Yeah, does
and
that
the
work?
party leg in the
Two
buckle.
different things. Okay, so that's a tincture, and a
Mm.
tincture will take out the most potent properties of a herb, and then when you take like a teaspoon of that, you're good. So like even for the the breakstone, the seed on the leaf that I just showed you.
Yeah.
When somebody told me what the herb good for, I was like, what? I just go and pull up all of them out of my yard, and I had some vodka because I didn't have no white rum, and I just put them all in the vodka, and it pull out all of the most powerful properties and put it into the rum. And so you just take a little bit of that, or you add it to your water, or you add it to your tea, and you'll get the
Mm.
properties. That's a tincture. Now, in terms of the 40 leg and the scorpion and so on in the rum,
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
also powerful antidote in that um if you get stung by a 40 leg and you take that, that is why them always have it in them medicine chest. They
Yep.
would just take that right away and put some on, and it's already going to neutralize whatever poison or sting, the insect has put into your body. You see that? You see how
Yeah.
wise they
Yes.
were?
Wow.
They had it all
Mm.
going on. They had
Yeah,
their
they had.
medicine chest. Uh, their medicine chest was dear. Weed, marijuana with rum on it. That's also very powerful, and that was a medicine.
True.
No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know there was any household without a bottle of rum with some 40 leg in it, and a bottle of rum with some ganja in it, a bottle of
Mm-hmm.
rum with some this, some
Yeah.
everybody have cola nut. Everybody had everything to get you well if you got sick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even
With
even
facts that facts.
even
I
for
grew up on
example,
that.
even for example, if you know we know how like older people in Jamaica stay. Anything with to do with the herb, them kind of tell you not right here or whatever. But everybody would have the bottle with the weed and
Yes.
the rum in
Yes.
them
Yes.
house just in
Mm-hmm.
case.
That was the
Yeah.
only time that you get like a partial
That's
from
it.
my
True.
family too.
Only
That's the
time.
only time you can go buy a 50 bag because they need to top it up.
Yes.
Any more herbs that
Uh,
here?
yeah, no, but none of the herbs them Tony. They say you have
Okay.
some fauna, some
Yes.
Yes.
flora.
I
Yes.
want to
Go
ask you a
ahead.
question. I saw this statement, I think it was a year ago, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no way I could do real research on it. So the
Yeah.
statement said that the flora in Jamaica is basically the most medicinal that you can find in the world.
I think, let me put it better for you. 85% of the healing herbs on
Yes,
the planet
yes,
grow
that's
in
what I saw.
Jamaica.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Mm-hmm.
that is
Repeat
the
that
truth.
one more time, please.
85% of all the world's healing herbs can be found in Jamaica,
Yeah.
And that must be for
right?
some reason.
Well, the tropics, first of all, the greatest biodiversity on the planet is around the tropical belt, where we get a lot of sun, we get a lot of rainfall, and we have a lot of vegetation and vegetation diversity. And when you have biodiversity, then you have lots of different plants with different plant compounds in them.
Yeah.
So, developed countries where they've cleared the land and they monocrop, the soil is depleted, and the plants are just rich in just basic compounds. So when you see people fussing about the Amazon rainforest and this rainforest, and they have a right, because those that are the ones that love to develop the world, they love to destroy nature to put in
Yes.
what they want to put in, and they don't understand the consequences until the things are lost. And when they're lost, they're extinct forever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If we
True.
continue to follow them, we're going to do monocropping, and we're going to destroy our soil structure as well. Already, there's land that is just dead
Yeah.
in certain agricultural belts in Jamaica.
In a lot of
Dead soil.
African countries as well.
Right.
And
And it's not an accident. It's by design. They know how to disrupt and destroy the soil structure so that it can no longer produce. Yeah. So
Mm.
there has been a thrust towards making large populations dependent on them for seeds and for food. And so systemic destruction of agricultural systems and traditional agricultural systems is something that they've been doing for maybe the last 70, 80 years.
Mm.
is
Yeah.
there
Control the
anything
food.
in place to protect the flora of Jamaica?
On
Like
paper,
any
on
laws?
paper,
On
on
paper,
paper,
yeah.
on
On
paper,
paper.
Yeah.
yes. But who's
Okay.
enforcing that? So
Okay.
the National Environmental Protection Agencies, they're all about biodiversity. They're all about protecting the forest. I used to work in forest conservation and marine conservation years ago. I walked away. I walked away.
Mm.
Why? Because I realized that they're saying one thing and government is doing another, even though they say that they are part of government. Man, I take money under the table and developer and foreign direct investment come in and clear cut and put a hotel. Nobody can stop that. No amount
Yeah.
of papers and documents on protection and so on. Right now, we are Cobra in St. Catherine. Every minute, there's a fish kill
Yeah. From the
contaminated
mining.
right.
Yeah.
No, from all sorts of different things. There's all sorts of industries around, and nobody has been prosecuted or penalized. And it keeps on going because when the man them know say come from their factory, them just go in to the Jamaican official, pay the man a money, and the case just drop.
Back to business.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is how it works. Sad to say.
Sad to say. You just mentioned a link between the lack of traditional medicine and mental illness. Let's talk about mental illness in Jamaica. What's your assessment of it?
First of all, um, we never had a lot of mental illness in Jamaica. Only like, you know, when you're growing up, say the madman out the road, right? Eat out
Yeah.
a garbage pan. We
One.
know them, right? All of us grew up with a madman, right? But now what we are having is everybody, every other person has, this one have anxiety, this one have depression, this one have schizo.
Autism.
This one have right. All of those things, people were able to deal with them when they saw the first signs. And a lot of us are going to snicker and turn up our nose because our grandmother would have go out with the baby because something wrong. Because them pick up say something wrong with the baby, a spirit. Somebody
Yeah.
said something upon the baby. And they would get the child sorted out and come back and the child would be fine. So sometimes what we regard as mental illness is sometimes a spiritual issue. And our
Mm.
tradition was able to deal with that in the past. Now, because of colonization and religions around like Christianity and so on, they made us turn up our nose and disregard the traditional wisdom around spirituality that was protecting our family members and our children. So because now you have a group of people who don't believe in those things, when the early signs present, they can't even recognize the early signs. And so nothing is done and the child continues and grows up to be a very troubled adult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I know it's a market as well.
Yes,
Like the
absolutely.
mental health industry sells.
Oh yeah.
It's
Self
sexy to
trauma.
be diagnosed as a. It's sexy to be
Yeah.
diagnosed.
Listen to
Trauma
me.
is glamorized. Anxiety
Listen
is
to me.
glamorized. It's
Oh, I
cool
have
to
to go to
be
my therapy
ADHD.
session. Yeah. eh, eh, Therapy sessions are now glorified. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
I go to somebody, right, for 3 week, 4 week, and them can't solve my problem, you think I'm going to go continue going to them for 5 and 6 years? You mad?
No.
Mm-mm.
Hell
Make
no.
no sense.
No, sir, because that means that you're not helping me. You just collect money off of my head,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people don't even think so. To me, the pharmaceutical industry is very similar in structure to the mental um, health
Health industry.
industry, where they will keep you going to a psychologist for years or a therapist for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And they
so
and they market to you as you can't be cured. We need to be talking once a week for 10 grand
listen,
every week.
So I can
listen,
assess you,
listen.
you know?
Back in 2010, my mother looks at me and she says, "Paul, I think you need to see a psychiatrist."
Wow.
And
Okay.
I said to her, "You know what? I will go to the psychiatrist, but it's going to be a waste of my time and your money because I'm certainly not going to be. And I will go into that psychiatrist's office and I will run circles around the psychiatrist and come out of there. He'll collect your money and he's going to tell you that I'm okay.
Mm.
I am
What's your
okay.
solution then? What's your solution then?
My
Because
solution is
if
people need to take responsibility for certain aspects of the traumas that they've been through. Like, I knew
yeah.
there was something wrong with me at the time, but I didn't think I was mad. I think I needed to step back and readjust, recalibrate, which is what I did. I took a 2 year off. And my mother was like, you don't just get to take a sabbatical from life. I said, well, watch me. And I took a 2 year sabbatical from life. Did I dead? No. I
Mhm.
wasn't working. I wasn't earning. Did I die? No. People keep thinking, but how will I pay my bills? How did I pay my bills? It's not like I'm a rich girl. I literally don't even know how I survived because they were like, well, we're not supporting you because you can't just take a sabbatical out. And I'm like, okay, leave me. I'll wing it. And I did. We
Mhm.
just have to be brave enough to know that we are okay.
Okay.
And then go all the things that I know now. I go and study while I was taking that little 2 year off, trying to understand what had gone wrong. That's how I found out about the charge on your body and that the fact that you have a North Pole and a South Pole, and when you juice and drink green vegetables, it reverses whatever um uh, polarity or the charge that is wrong in your body. So if you're sick and
Mm.
you just drink green juice for about 5 days, you reverse all of what's going on. You alkaline your body.
Yeah.
You come right back. And so that's what I
Mhm.
did. And I came right back because my body
Yeah.
was acidic from all the stress. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't sleeping properly. I was overworking. It was horrible what I was doing to my body, and I had no idea. I thought I was the go getter. I was, chasing the bag. I was trying to climb,
The
the career
achiever.
ladder. Yeah. And me nearly killed myself.
Mm.
So I reversed all of it within a year and a half.
Yeah. But do you think therapy has any positive benefits to it then?
Yes, it gives you an idea of how your past and how your childhood traumas and how your um familial issues are impacting the way you see the world. But I
Yeah.
don't think it should continue forever. I think I can find out all of those things on YouTube and reading a couple
Mm.
of bestsellers right now. I don't really
Yeah.
need therapy, but I'm talking about me. There's a lot of people who need it. So I would say go ahead. But then what happens is that they become addicted to or hooked or dependent on the therapy.
Just like a
Which is
painkiller.
nonsense. That's nonsense too. So people need to be able to manage themselves
Yeah. The
and
other
not
the other day,
outsource everything.
yep, exactly. The other day I was going on a walk, and while on this walk, the cold winter here licking me
Yeah.
chip, and I say, "Oh, I'm doing this walk because I know I want to, and it's uncomfortable now, but it's now a
Yes.
part of my routine and
Very
my
good.
habit to do this
Very good.
walk, and
Very
I don't
good.
want to break this routine." And I
Yes. Even
noticed
though
that
it's cold.
one thing this walk do is allow me to spend time with myself and get to know
Aha.
myself. The
Yes.
noise isn't I'm not being drowned out by the noise that is my life.
Very
For this
good.
1 hour that I take this walk, this 30 minutes, I get to know the real me. I'm not being stimulated by the phone, by what's on Netflix or what's going on for work, the people around me. And I realize that if I tell people to do this walk and they find excuses, it's not that they don't want to do it or they don't see the positive benefits. I think it's the fear of what they will realize about themselves to some extent. So they keep that part of them hidden. I don't know if you ever
I
meant it that way.
100%, 1000% agree with you. Do you know that a lot of people go out and party to escape from
Mm-hmm.
themselves?
The escape,
Do you
yeah,
know that a
escapism,
lot
yeah.
of people drink to escape from themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, what happened during the pandemic when they couldn't go out and party and they couldn't go out and drink and they couldn't go out and
Mm-hmm.
socialize? They had to face themselves. They went mad.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
They went mad facing themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why we saw a lot of the anxiety and depression skyrocketing during that time. People were so accustomed to the noise of radio and television and music that they could no longer hear themselves or even feel. They couldn't feel. They were so numb and overstimulated from all the externals. So this is
Mm-hmm.
why I tell people all the time, the best thing you can do is meditate. During
Yeah.
meditation, you get the downloads. You get to
Mm.
quiet the mind and really get to connect with yourself, the
Yeah.
God within. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think meditation, you mentioned it, right?
Hmm.
That's another thing I've been thinking about as well.
But your
The
walking is a
effect.
meditation, You're
Yeah, no,
walking.
no, that is a meditation. That is a meditation. But
Yeah.
there comes, I understand meditation is sold as a very positive thing.
Yeah.
But I also see a negative side of meditation. The
Tell me.
negative side being a lot of people can't reconcile with their trauma. They can go so deep within themselves that it breaks them because they have no techniques in how to deal with this trauma, how to process the trauma. So you get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you have a problem because your parents used to beat you when you little, go and go meditate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while the meditation, them reach a realm where it just literally shatters their reality because they have no tools in order to deal with it. So
Hmm.
whenever meditation is mentioned, even though it's largely positive, I want there to be some conversation about how to actually meditate properly as well. Because a
I
lot of people
never really,
don't do it that way.
I hear what you're saying, but I never really hear anybody. meditate and go mad. Really, but if you say so, it's so. But what I would
I'm
recommend,
not.
what I would
I'm not
recommend.
saying it so, but I'm just saying that you can be. Let's say, think about it. Meditation comes in different forms. Let's say I'm doing the traditional breath work, um, dark room, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what them call it again, removing the stimulation, the external stimulation,
Yes.
and I go. There's that quiet and that silence, and I keep thinking and going deeper and deeper within. If you're not on a proper spiritual guide, you can be lost, because external forces can also be affecting you apart from as along with the trauma as well.
Yeah, your demons we have inside you.
So
Yes.
the demons can win.
Yeah.
Not everyone is strong enough to beat the demons.
Yes. I
You get.
agree with that. But guess what happened?
Mm,
I feel like that whole concept of the demons coming in
mm-hmm,
is part of the church's thrust towards getting people to not meditate.
mm.
Because
I
yeah.
really do. I really do. Remember,
I don't.
when you meditate, a lot of truths come true. A lot
Mm,
of the realities get shattered. And so some of the shattering that you're talking about is perhaps that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's the thing that I think you might be talking about.
But
The
Pardon me,
Davian,
church,
Mrs. No,
the
can I?
church, the church, the
but
church
Davian,
aspect of it. I don't think the church is anti-meditation, if I'm being honest, because when you think about meditation, going down on your knees and praying and being in silence and reverence, to technically that is meditation. It's just that it's been packaged differently. When you go to
Absolutely.
mass,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Um, how I would put it is this: when people see something that scares them, they immediately think of the demons.
mm-hmm,
And the movies also give you a whole spin on that.
yeah, no,
But
we're using
I would
demons
say,
metaphorically, not
yes,
literally in the
yes.
sense.
But I would say if someone is having that kind of struggle, they should have the common sense to go and get external support with that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
but
That's
but
where
Davian,
you would come in, a wellness and a spiritual guide that would teach people how to properly meditate. You get what I'm saying? We have to understand. We live in a world where not every man can learn how to fish on their own. They need somebody to teach them to catch the fish, and they need someone to continuously teach them until them get it, and then them can teach somebody else. We're talking about meditation and
Yes.
possible negative effects of it. Um, Tonniel, I think you had something you wanted to
yeah.
say.
So I was saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, because Davian said that people who meditate sometimes they find themselves, and when they actually find themselves, some people can't actually deal with the reality of who they are. But I believe that if you know that a duality exists with everything, you have fire and you have ice, you have rain and you have the sunshine, yin and yang, basically. You will
Yes.
know that all of these things they fill your basket to be the person that you are. And if you
Yes.
remove some of even if you remove some of the negative things, you might get a different result. You might not be the same person that you are or who you want to
Correct.
be
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Correct.
from
So
removing all of these negative things, because it's not only positive that makes us who we are.
yeah, I agree. And so for those people who are impacted by their own minds, those are the people that need the help and the support of the psychiatrist, not just everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So I would encourage everybody to try meditation, and if they do have that challenge, that's when they should go and seek external support.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All right.
since we're on the topic of spirituality, I have a very controversial question for you. What are your thoughts on Obia being legal again in Jamaica? Because as it was cast away by the church, as you know, any type of African spirituality or celebration of something that is not Christ and has to do with the church is usually stepped upon. So what do you think if Obia were to be legalized again?
Okay, so I actually was part of the group that was pushing for it to be legalized. And my
Yeah.
support of it is not because I practice Obi or I believe in it. My support of it is because I understand what the colonizers did in terms of demonizing African spirituality. We are
Yes.
from Africa. And are you trying to tell me that everything that we do bad, but everything them do is good? You ever hear about
Mm.
any war, any religious war where African populations slaughtered millions of people? Never.
Never.
So when I looked into it, I realized that African spirituality is a very gentle, balanced, connected, and harmonious system. And it
Mm.
was demonized because it was also very powerful. And when they wanted to control the slaves, and the slaves would use parts of their system to protect themselves, the colonizers were threatened by it. And so they condemned it and told people it was bad and it was wrong and it was this and it was that. But let me ask you a question. If you were taken from your land and you were enslaved, would you be using your most passive methods to defeat the enemy, or would you be using your biggest, baddest weapons?
The
I
biggest
could bring out
weapons
the
I
big
can
guns.
find.
Right. So now all you have left in Jamaica is the residual, the big guns, and it looked like it's very destructive and bad. But it's what they had to use to protect themselves. So if I were to say, I mean, I would agree. How come everybody else in the world are free to practice their religious systems except us?
It's not
Hmm?
fair.
Mm.
It's not fair. We should be allowed to embrace and to share, because you realize that because it was made illegal, it went underground. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
further demonized. So now everybody's skeptical, everybody's suspicious, everybody is. But it's almost the same thing was done to bush medicine. Because guess what? In the old days and in certain African spiritual systems, bush
Mhm.
medicine went hand in hand with spirituality. And so when
Um.
people were taking care of someone, they gave them a combination of remedies to take care of physical plus spiritual.
Mm.
Yes. My one of my mentors. I don't know if you know him. I think you know him, Fela Kuti. He was one who didn't believe in Western medicine because of the same reason you're saying, because it had a very low spiritual content versus bush medicine, which has a high spiritual content. It doesn't only like deal with the problem that you have. It is a whole process of wellness. It's not just curing the symptoms, but getting right to the problem and dealing with it spiritually using those medicine. Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's how we've always done it. So for some people to just come and tell us this and tell us that and tell us to do this and tell us to take that, and there's something very wrong with it. Very wrong.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
And
I believe so too.
even the whole issue of Jamaica and Haiti, when the Haitians come across on their boat and the Jamaicans are saying, send them back. Them not belong over here. And I'm like, they they have been programmed so much around the geopolitical boundaries that they don't realize that the whole string of islands were one set of people.
Yes.
Haiti
Mhm.
man, Nanny was going over to Haiti, and a dirty book man go over to Haiti.
Dirty book man.
All of them helped to win the Haitian Revolution, and they were moving back and forth. You think Nanny was just in Jamaica? She was down in Saint Vincent and Grenada and all over. She was moving, right? But they hide those things from us so that we don't realize how or understand how powerful our forefathers were and their ability to bilocate. They will not tell you that Nanny could move all around the island. She not have no car. And she don't have no helicopter, but she a move between Portland and St. Elizabeth and Negril. She was all over the place. She had powers,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
but they won't tell you
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
properly documented. But when you start to see how the stories match up you from all the different islands, you realize it's the same person they were talking about, or a type of woman who had these gifts and abilities.
Yeah. Because a big factor in Nani's power was the spiritual warfare that she can face, not only the guerrilla warfare, but the combination of
Spiritual.
guerrilla warfare and warfare and
Right.
spirituality as well.
Yeah, yeah. She was able to protect.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to confuse. She was
Mm-hmm.
able to. She was a master strategist as well.
Yeah.
That's how
How
she
can we
beat them.
change this? How can we change all of this? How can we ensure
We're,
that the
we're,
kids
we're
growing up
we're
Yes,
in
as
get
we are
process
access to
taking it
now.
this?
home.
We're in process now. See, you're doing a podcast, and people are going to listen to this, and they're going to go do their research, and they're going to find out. They're going to make their
Mm-hmm.
way back to the old ways. They're going to go study the herbs too. Look at all the young herbalists, all the young sisters online studying about all the ways to cleanse the womb, to detox the blood, to take care of themselves. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a renaissance around natural healing. It's already
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the online thing, how can you decipher? Because I know you're pressed for time. How can you decipher who's selling you a story and who actually knows their stuff?
You know, I listen not just with my ears, I listen with my eyes and my nose and my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You can see when someone is talking and they're fluent and they're flowing and they are so willing to share the information, and they're not just a content creator trying to capitalize on you. A lot of the people around that are online selling products and selling therapy are capitalizing on people's vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And
Their
lack of knowledge.
sadness, their rage, their brokenness, their traumas. And these people don't even know that they're being preyed upon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really you listening with your sixth and seventh sense, discernment. All of us are given discernment. I always laugh and say Jamaican people are the most psychic people in the world. Yeah man, them mind tell them say the boy there, them spirit tell them say that
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
they know. So we have to just be guided by our intuition, our inner knowing. You
True.
know?
Our
When you
inner
hear
knowing.
somebody talk, you know say them are a fraud. You know. You
Mm-hmm.
just know. But some people are actors and actresses, or they're trained in journalism, so they have the gift of gab and they can do it. You still have to use your spirit, and you will know. You will know. In
Yeah.
these day and
Yeah.
age, it's really just about your spiritual discernment.
Mm-hmm. And use it. Don't be afraid. One
Yes.
last question. What's the biggest problem facing Jamaica right now, and how would you solve it?
Boy, the biggest problem in Jamaica right now is is basically our youth being disempowered by lack of knowledge and lack of knowing their own history and their own culture. They are being influenced by the North American subculture. That's the biggest problem right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And so because of that, you tell them Louis Vuitton and this Balenciaga, and everybody head spin. And they place greater value on those things than on real things like friendships and relationships and family, right? um and so they accept corruption, corrupt politicians, corrupt businessmen, and and people who call themselves Don and will put guns in the hands of young men because that's what they do. So all of this is, to me, the root of everything is American subculture influencing our
Wow.
society more than our fundamental governing principles. The Jamaica of 60 years ago was a very different place. It was safe. The people had morals. They had ethic. They were gentle. They were, um, they had an elegance to them, even if they were poor or rural. There was a
Yeah.
certain level of sophistication to them. No, all of that is gone. We're vulgar, we're violent, we're vile. And it's because we're watching the North American culture and we're taking on the bits and pieces. And they have structured things in such a way that the music is driving the culture and the behaviors.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's tricky. I feel like if we didn't have those things happening, our society would be very different.
Yeah. If we were
Wow.
to cut off the North American milk that we drink
Yep.
Yeah, man,
from
and
day to
milk.
day.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is literally and figuratively. Yeah.
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 True, 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 true.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Lack, thank you so much for
Thank
taking the
you.
time to speak with us. Definitely want to have you back on.
Yeah.
And next time I'm in Jamaica, also want to meet face to face and have a conversation as well because your teachings and your wisdom definitely something that needs to be shared and people need to have more access to this kind of information out there.
Absolutely.
Next
Absolutely.
time, if we have you on again, one thing I want to talk about is sexuality as well,
Of
because
course, we can talk about that.
that's a big thing, and a lot of we still maintain a little bit of a up nose mentality towards that in Jamaica, but it plays a big role in society as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
A lot of the breakdowns are from that area. So you know it's being attacked on purpose. On purpose.
Exactly. Especially when it comes down to them, say the birth rate crisis and all of that, it
Yep.
all plays a
Yep.
role. But
Yeah.
All kind
thank
of
you so
stuff.
much. And is there anything you want to shout out or anything that you want people to support? I
No,
know you're doing a lot of
I
Raising
hurricane
there's
militia
awareness.
relief.
lots of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more concerned about the big cold blitz that you guys are having. And I want to encourage everybody to get whatever bush tea them can get some menthol crystals at the pharmacies. Buy it on Amazon and make sure you have it at your house so that you can inhale the steam and clear your lungs. If you can get some of the basic bush tea, have them so you can boil tea and drink during this cold blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also have a particular herbal blend. If you go to my website, paulahurlock.live, or go to my IG page, Paula Hurlock, you are able to go on my link tree and order the tea blend. It's very powerful. It has over 14 wild harvested Jamaican herbs that you can be taking during this time because this winter blitz is not normal. I will go into that another time, but not this time. It's not
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Yes. Yes.
It's not normal. Not normal at all. But
Not
we need to
normal.
take the precautions. It's going to be bad. Okay. They
Mm-hmm.
predicted how severe it is
Mm-hmm.
already. I knew about this cold blitz from October.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if I know about it, that means it was planned, right? You
Yeah.
see, like
But
how
you.
That was
they
programmed.
thought the hurricane Melissa was going to be very bad. They knew.
Mm-hmm.
You know why them
Okay.
know? Because them do it.
Yeah.
They geoengineered it. And right now, what you're seeing in the Soviet Union or Russia right now, sorry, there is a terrible winter. That also is
Mm-hmm.
not an accident. So
No.
there's a combination. I have to say that there's also some cosmic and solar flares going on that is really creating a lot of mayhem naturally. But I think some of this is also man-made. So it's a
Yeah.
combination. Yeah.
Funny enough about this cold bliss, we're in Spain, and I've lived there for years, and it's
Yes.
the same thing going on here.
Exactly.
And no
Exactly.
one is, and they don't want any panic,
Yeah.
so no one is saying that. But the flu has been extremely horrendous this year
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no,
compared to
no.
other
Wait, wait.
years.
The flu has been extremely horrendous since COVID.
Yes. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Winters after COVID,
they're
they're like the
manufacturing them.
sicknesses
They're
have been
cranking
getting
them
worse.
out. Yeah, so we need to take all of those herbs that I talked about. Anyone you put your hand on, you're good.
All
Just
right.
drink
Okay. All
and
right.
alkaline the body so that the body not too acidic and the parasites are, the parasite load is low and your immune system will be strong. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. You hear that, people? Drink up your tea. Drink up your
Drink
Drink
tea.
up
up
your
your
bush
tea.
tea.
Drink
Anyone
up
you
your
catch
tea.
anyone you catch, you drink it and you're good to go. As much
Yeah,
as you
man.
can get, you put your hands on it and you make your tea, and you will into it. Once you get that tea and you start drinking it, you just know which one to drink next and which one. It's in your DNA. That
I
wisdom
tell
Mm-hmm.
you, yeah.
resides within you,
Yeah.
and once you
Yeah.
start, it starts to give you the information. You will all go dream, yeah man, me need to go get some nutmeg, I make some nutmeg tea or some
Mm.
cinnamon tea. And me
Some
need for draw
clove.
this and me need, I'm telling you, cloves, all of those things. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry for one more question, because
As we
somebody
are
would
taking it home.
knock me out if me not answer the question. Fasting,
Yes.
the impacts of it, especially on a woman, because I think it might be different for. Is there some difference in how women should fast or compared to
All right.
men?
Women, everybody should fast. The
Yes.
truth is that this whole three meals per day nonsense is what's killing all of
Rubbish.
us. We're supposed to just eat to live, and all of us are eating too much. So all our organs are overworked. We have too much sugar to metabolize, too much salt to metabolize, too much of everything. And so there is nothing wrong with fasting for anybody. What I would encourage people to do is go and do your research on fasting. When I said it, the internet have so much information about fasting do's and don'ts. All I know is that fasting has reversed a lot of people's lifestyle diseases. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not dead. You cannot dead from fasting. It takes you
Mm-hmm.
Tell them again.
maybe 30 days with no food to die. If you're drinking water, you will live. If you're drinking
Mm-hmm.
tea, you will live. If you're drinking kind of juice, you will live. If you're even drinking your urine, you will live. People have survived days without eating because they were drinking their urine. And by the way, there's a whole thing called urine therapy, which basically urine contains stem cells and your stem cells, not artificial stem cells. So think about all of those things. Nothing wrong with fasting,
Yeah.
just like nothing wrong with meditation. Do your
Yeah.
research. The information
Yeah, man.
is there. There is no reason to say, oh, I don't know how to do it. The internet is
Mm-hmm.
filled with information on it. And there
Yeah,
are
man, people.
experts on all of these things that we've discussed. You can find them on
Yeah.
IG. Even if they're fake, they're still going to give you very useful information.
Discernment, as you
True,
say.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. Yeah,
Yes.
man. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think I will skip the urine therapy part, but outside of that, everything good. Everything
Ah,
good. All right. Thank you so much. What good people, and like, share, subscribe. You know the rule and them things there.